For the record, both assistant state attorneys are present, all for defense counsel and Mr. Rodgers.
Your Honor, preliminarily, and I just spoke with Ms. Fitzgeorge about that, there were two exhibits that we referenced this morning. I don't believe they were moved into evidence. They are two phones. One is State's Exhibit 53. The other is State's Exhibit 89. And at this time, the state would just move those into evidence. No objection.
We'll show them both admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Before moving to the issue that we were talking about before we broke for lunch, one of our jurors raised a concern with the bailiffs that when he was at lunch, someone sat next to him or near him, opened up a computer, and there was stuff about the trial on it, I guess. So it's one of our alternates, Mr. It's the name I can't pronounce. Jadinsky? So I suggest we bring him out and talk to him about it. State?
Sounds like a plan, Your Honor.
Okay, bring him out. You can grab a seat if you want. Yeah, absolutely. And can I have you state your name again for the record?
Christopher Michael Jagosinski.
And, sir, I was told you had an encounter at lunch?
Yes, me and two of my other jurors went to a local restaurant for lunch. A gentleman sat next to us, who I did not recognize, who has not testified, opened up his laptop and had photos of submitted evidence. I just glanced, asked the gentleman to move. He quickly closed his laptop and left.
Okay. Did you have any discussion with him at all?
Not at all.
Did any of the other jurors have any discussion with him that were with you? And who were the other two jurors you were with?
The only words spoken were, would you mind moving, please? He looked over at us, slammed his laptop shut.
And there were a couple photos on the screen?
Yes.
And there were things that were already admitted?
There was one item that I saw that was already been admitted into evidence.
And what was that item, do you
It was
recall?
a photo of Mr. Rodgers in a t-shirt.
Okay. State?
Nothing to inquire, Your Honor.
Defense?
Where you were eating?
We were at, I thought it was called the Sub Shop, right next to the dry cleaners, but it actually has obviously changed into something else.
Thank you.
Defense?
Was there any conversation that you overheard him having?
No, he was alone, but he was not on the phone. There was no conversation happening.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And you did the right thing by letting us know immediately. I appreciate it. Do we need to bring the other two out?
I don't believe so, given the conversation of this juror, but I will defer to the defense.
I think in an abundance of caution, bringing each out one at a time.
Do you know who the other two are? Awesome. One at a time. Please be seated. Good afternoon. Can I have you state your name again for the record? And ma'am, I heard there was an encounter at lunch.
Yes.
Tell me what you saw or heard.
We were sitting having lunch, and Chris pointed out a gentleman with a laptop and said, basically, well, I don't think he should be here. I don't think we should be here. I looked up and I just saw it. I don't know if it was a news press collar type thing. I even said something.
Did you see anything on the computer? Did you hear that gentleman say anything? Okay. State, any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Defense?
No other questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon. Can I have you state your name again for the record? And I heard there was an encounter at lunch today. Tell me what you saw or heard.
I just saw somebody sit down with a laptop, looking at the laptop, and they had pictures. I didn't see the specific picture, but they were photographs on it.
Okay. Did you hear that person say anything?
No,
And you couldn't make the pictures out?
no.
Okay,
No, I couldn't like see a specific, but you could tell it was like a file of photographs.
okay.
And then Chris said, shut that. You need to shut that. And he did. And moved to
Excellent. State?
No questions, Your Honor.
Defense?
No questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Any issues with any of those jurors from either side?
No, Your Honor.
No issue with the jurors. No, sir.
Okay. Are your two witnesses here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. What's your pleasure?
I'd like to depose them. Mr. Mummer's here as well.
How long do you need?
I don't, an hour. What else is on the?
Well, I'm just asking because
This afternoon, right?
I'm just asking because if it's going to be an hour at least, I'm going to let them go get coffee or do what they want to do, I guess. Unless you guys want them back there for an hour. We could. They just ate. I guess they could stay back there.
Just have a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, what Ms. Fitzgeorge was speaking to me about, and it sounds like an efficient, a more efficient way to do it, is that the state would call its next witness, and then after that witness, maybe the court might recess for the day, and we could take the depositions rather than have the jury sitting here for a period of time. And the state would not object if the court wanted to do that.
Let me ask you this: Are your witnesses even available tomorrow? These FBI people.
I think that if we ask them to stay through tomorrow morning, they will accommodate that. We had told them we were calling them in for today, but I think they would accommodate that for sure.
Are they from out of area?
Yes, they are. They are from Quantico, Virginia, Your Honor.
I'd rather take their depositions and move forward with their testimony.
Very good, Your Honor.
If you think it's only going to be an hour, we'll just leave the jury back there. And if it looks like it's going to be longer, let me know and we'll reconvene and we'll cut them loose for a little while.
Yes, Your Honor, and perhaps yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
We'll be in recess.
Thank you.
Is there enough room for? Oh, wait. Yeah, we need Mr. Rodgers and shut the door. Yeah. Okay. That would have been bad. Please be seated. I'm going to ask our jurors again, did you follow my instructions, not talk about the case with anybody else or look up any of the people or places involved? Even if you did so inadvertently, now would be the time to raise your hand and let me know. For the record, no jurors lifted their hand. Unfortunately, we're going to have to take a little bit more of a protracted break. There's some matters I have to take care of. My apologies, it's my fault. We're going to have you come back at 3:30. And again, don't talk about the case with anybody else or look up any of the people or places involved, but you're free to go do what you'd like to do until then. Please be seated. We'll be in recess. Please be seated. I got your message. Oh, well, I guess we need her.
That's correct, Your Honor. The court reporter is still over with the depositions. I can alert the court that they just finished the deposition of the first FBI agent and are currently off the record speaking to the second. I don't know if that's going to now become an on-the-record discussion.
I think before they do that, everyone needs to be here. I thought we said we were getting back together at 3:30.
Yes, Your Honor, that was.
I will sit here and wait while both sides contact their people and tell them to show up.
message they're almost done with the second depot.
Done with it?
Almost done with the second depot.
Okay, they can finish them. If they really are almost done, like 5 minutes done, not 1 hour done.
Finish depot if within 5 minutes. Otherwise, come on over. They're on their way.
Okay.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, since we're pausing for them, may I just step outside for a
Yes,
moment?
ma'am, we can't do anything without our court reporter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You got demand for speedy we're hearing on Wednesday. Defense counsel and Mr. Rodgers. The depots are done?
We deposed Ms. Otterstatter to the extent that I could depose her with regard to not having the information that has been the subject of dispute. And I spoke to Ms. Fentress without formally deposing her, and I'm fine with that. I will forego her deposition. It was Ms. Otterstatter that was important to depose, and it took the entire time, and I'm still not sure that I got everything, a full understanding of it. So.
State?
Your Honor, I certainly think that there was a deposition of Ms. Otterstatter. The bench notes were not the subject of the deposition. At least most of the deposition was the actual report, which is part of her work. And since August 19th, the defense has had, or at least since the end of August, they have had the bench notes and had all of September if they wish to take a more extensive deposition of Ms. Otterstatter.
Did she say whether there's documents that haven't been provided or not? I guess that's the bottom line.
Since the time, for the time I was there, and Mr. Hunter was there afterwards, she was not asked that question during deposition.
Whether they're provided or not, I don't have them, and I've made that abundantly clear.
Well, if they were provided to the state and the state said they gave you everything, then they've been provided. Let's bring her in. I'll ask. How long will her testimony take if she's your next witness? From your side?
45 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe an hour at the most.
I got it. Right here, and then we're going to put her on the stand. Please raise your right hand, ma'am. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this matter here today?
Yes, I do.
Just sit down, ma'am. I've got a few questions for you. Can you please state your name for the record?
My name is Linda Otterstatter.
And how are you employed, ma'am?
I'm employed with the FBI Laboratory Trace Evidence Unit in Quantico, Virginia.
How long have you been employed with them?
Approximately 13 years.
And how long have you been in that unit?
13 years.
Okay. So you've been doing this for some time.
Yes.
The parties didn't depose you until today, so I've got a couple questions for you, maybe only one question. All the information you have on running your tests and the tests you performed and the data on that, have you turned everything over to the state attorney's office?
I have, yes.
Is there any other reports or underlying software, manuals, or anything else you haven't turned over that you're aware of?
I have turned over all of my materials, yes.
Okay. You have any questions, State?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Defense?
Can you name the items that you turned over? And were, let let me strike that and start with, were your items that were disclosed to the state password protected?
No, they were not.
Do you know what software programs were utilized?
I turned them over, all of my documents, to using they were in a PDF format, and I put it on a CD.
While counsel's looking, we were told that there were two files. One was on a PDF and one was some other file. Are those the same thing, just converted to a PDF?
I'm not really sure what they're talking about.
Okay.
I don't understand. Everything that I turned over was on a PDF.
And Your Honor, may I address
Well,
the court?
in a moment, and if counsel for the defense has their question ready. She was looking, so I figured I might as well ask, because someone mentioned that before our break.
Ms. Armstead, did what you turned over to the state provide, or did it include all records made by the laboratory in connection with this case, including, but not limited to, bench notes of electronic data relevant to the case, photos and images taken for being provided in photographic quality?
Yes.
It was provided to the state.
Yes.
Okay. The raw data, the documents, not you, just your results.
We provided, it's customary practice with any discovery to provide all of the laboratory notes, examination notes, and administrative paperwork along with our standard operating procedures.
I received the standard operating procedures, but there's information that I didn't receive or couldn't access. You indicated that it was one disc that you provided.
Yes.
I received 5 discs. Is that correct, Mr. Hunter?
Your Honor, the state provided 6 discs. They were put on, so in a capacity that could be put onto our electronic IGIS system. Each of those was indexed as it came from. No changes were made by the state. It was simply uploaded and indexed. And I would offer to show the court, and I have opened it, all of those discs so the court can click and actually look at what was provided. This is what went and was uploaded for discovery.
If I could finish my question. I just have a
Sure.
couple more questions. Was a list of all the commercial software programs used in testing in this case, including the names of the software programs, manufacturer versions used in this case, was that provided?
As far as the software programs that we use,
Yes.
no. That is not something that is customarily included.
A copy of all the data files used and created in the course of performing the testing and analyzing the data in the case, to include all data necessary to independently reanalyze the raw data and reconstruct the analysis performed in this case. Was that included?
Well, the raw data would be the fiber microspec data as well as the FTIR infrared data. All of those are in printout form in the raw data portion.
Was that provided and what you
Yes.
provided to the state? A copy of any frequency tables or statistical data relied upon in making statistical estimates in the case, including if the laboratory relied upon published or publicly available data. This request can be satisfied by providing specific reference to the source. So, is there any,
We don't, at least my portion of this case did not use any statistical data, so no.
so none was included?
None was included because you didn't use it.
You didn't
Correct.
use it, right, okay, thank you. Those are the items, I believe, that we were unable to locate. So no, my questioning in deposition did not specifically include what wasn't involved, what wasn't received, because I didn't receive it.
Well, I mean,
understand what you're saying, but this
here-
electronic data has been a problem throughout this entire case. You know, with receiving hard drives and disks and not knowing what's on it or not being able to access it.
the problem is that I can't force federal agents to come to court. You need permission from the federal government to even depose them, and they can say no. I don't have the authority to force them to send anything. So the appropriate mechanism was to do what we did today and to sit her down and ask her, I've got this disc right here, and this is what's on it, is all of these things on it. And then she can look at it and say, yes, it is, or no, it's not, which wasn't done until right now. And she hasn't even looked at the disc. She says it's all on there, and I believe her.
I don't disbelieve her. I don't disbelieve that possibly the state has it. What I'm saying is I didn't get it.
The state-
We had so much.
I'm going to stop. The state turned it over. She said it's in a PDF file. The state said they gave it to you in a PDF file. You have it.
I have what I could open. I can't find.
You can step
anything else,
down, ma'am.
nor could Dr. Langer, who I consulted with. So.
Well, those are
I
great.
understand what you're saying.
Those are great questions for him when he gets on the stand too, to say that they don't exist, and then their witness will say they do, and then the jury will weigh it and figure it out if we get to that point.
We'll be back to here. I'm just saying it should not be held against Mr. Rodgers. I've been expressing this to the court for quite some time. I understand you have no control over.
You
federal
put me,
government.
I'm going to stop you right there. You put me into a conundrum where you guys haven't asked her if she had it. You guys didn't show her a disc, and you decided not to depose her because you said you didn't have it. And then I am in the position, I can't produce these things, so we would just wait infinitum to have trial if we were just waiting for something to come that the FBI has said they've already given you. And the proper mechanism is to do what we just did and to ask her if you guys want to show her the disc and she can show you where these things are. And if the state has said they've turned it over, I don't know what you would expect me to do, because what you're basically saying is we would never go to trial.
No, I expected a continuance that I asked for and I laid a record for to give me an additional couple of weeks to be prepared on this. That's what I would have expected. However, I defer to the court. This is your court. I'm here. I'm doing what I can. It's their job to get it to me.
Well, it's
Not
not.
hers even.
It's not my court. It belongs to the people of Southwest Florida. I'm just occupying a seat for the given time. And the state says they've turned it over, and that is their duty and obligation, and they say they've done it. If you guys want more time to go show them the disc and make sure that it's really on there, I don't have a problem with that. We can do that right now.
And Your Honor, may I put on the record that those discs are, because they were PDFs uploaded to provide, are pages 84282 through, pardon me for sitting down, Your Honor, I need to move the computer down, to 89079, numbered sequentially, all provided.
I think the underlying issue, too, has been the absolute reluctance of both parties to speak, too. Even on the eve of trial, you guys hadn't even talked about a possible resolution until I told you guys to sit down and do it. I mean, do you want more time to go see and walk through these with counsel, with your witness? I'll give it to you, and we can take a break.
I'm not sure I understand what counsel is saying, because
She's saying she didn't get it, and she's saying it's not in there, and she doesn't see it, so maybe your witness can point it out.
I don't see it to the extent that they say it's there. And I have specifically, weeks ago, pointed this out to Ms. Ross. Exactly. I highlighted the areas that I don't have, which I've just read to the court.
Your Honor, the state cannot produce what the FBI does not give. The state produced everything sent by the FBI.
I'm gonna stop you.
Those are the numbers.
I'm going to stop you, and it's a clear issue one way or the other. Do you guys want to recess for the rest of the day and you can sit down and she can point those things out since she says they're in there? Or do you guys want to continue with a witness? And your previous objections are noted for the record on proceeding to trial and renewed at this time, and I note them for the record. State.
Your Honor, the state has no problem taking the time if the court recesses to sit here with the computer opened and show Ms. Fitzgeorge each of these discs.
So you have no preference. Okay. Defense.
Do I then get time to consult with my expert?
You've had this information according to them, but to make sure that it's really there, if you want time to talk to her now, that's the question. That's what I'm asking you. I'm not talking about anything after that right now.
But you're presuming that they're telling the truth and I'm not.
I had a witness up here under oath who's the one who sent it, and I'm giving you another opportunity to go talk to her so she can point those out. I'm not saying anyone's lying. And to put that on the record, I think is unfair to say that that's what I'm doing, because that is not what I'm doing. Do you want more time to talk to her and she can point out the things you say are missing in the PDF that has been disclosed or not? Right now, I'll give it to you. Okay, excellent. Bring the jurors out. Please be seated. I'll ask our jurors again, did you follow my instructions, not talk about the case among yourselves with anybody else or look up any of the people or places involved? Even if you did so inadvertently, now would be the time to raise your hand and let me know. For the record, no jurors lifted their hand. I had some matters I had to take care of outside of your presence not too long ago, and I have not been able to resolve them yet. It's my fault. I'm going to apologize, but we are going to adjourn for the day. I'm going to ask you to continue not to talk about the case among yourselves with anybody else or look up any of the people or places involved, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:30. Please be seated. Anything further?
The state has an unusual request, if the court would consider it. We could hook up our computer so that Your Honor could see as we're looking through it, so that Your Honor could feel comfortable with what is being shown and what was provided.
That's beyond my role. My role is just to make sure everything's been turned over. Your roles are to depose these people and to decide who may be not giving you complete information or have forgotten what they've seen. All the issues you do in a deposition, that's between the two of you. And if there's a gap in that, absent something clearly not having been handed over, that's an issue that you take up with them in the witness stand in cross-examination or direct. See everybody tomorrow at 8:30. I expect you to stay around and go through it with that witness, wherever you would like.
Apologize for the court if you don't know what to.
No apology necessary. Okay.